What I wish I knew about the woods beyond before I set foot in them would haunt me forever. Legend has it, no one who ventures into the woods beyond ever returns. The stories were always there, whispered among the locals, passed down through generations. They spoke of eerie sounds, ghostly apparitions, and an overwhelming sense of dread that would consume anyone who dared to enter. But we, four thrill-seeking friends, decided to test the myth. We were young, adventurous, and perhaps a bit too confident for our own good. We packed our gear, loaded up on supplies, and set off with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The first night was calm, almost too calm, the kind of calm that makes you uneasy, like the world is holding its breath. We set up our tents, gathered around the campfire, and tried to shake off the feeling that we were being watched. The fire crackled and laughter filled the air. We shared stories, roasted marshmallows, and for a moment it felt like any other camping trip. But beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of tension, a sense that something was not quite right. Little did we know, the forest was watching. It felt alive, as if it had eyes in every tree, ears in every rustling leaf. The darkness seemed to pulse with a life of its own, and the shadows danced in ways that defied explanation. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the atmosphere changed. The warmth of the day gave way to a chilling cold, and the forest seemed to close in around us. The once inviting woods now felt like a trap, a labyrinth with no way out. An eerie silence enveloped the campsite. Suddenly the usual sounds of the forest, crickets chirping, leaves rustling, were gone. It was as if the world had gone mute, and in that silence we felt the weight of the forest's gaze. Whispers drifted through the trees, calling our names. They were faint at first, almost indistinguishable from the wind, but as the night wore on, they grew louder, more insistent, like a chorus of lost souls trying to reach us. We brushed it off, thinking it was the wind. We tried to laugh it off, to convince ourselves that it was just our imaginations playing tricks on us. But deep down, we knew something was wrong. Around midnight, a chilling scream shattered the silence. It was a sound unlike anything we had ever heard, raw, primal, filled with a terror that cut through the night like a knife. We bolted upright, our hearts pounding in our chests, and our flashlights revealed nothing. The beam of light cut through the darkness, but there was no sign of what had made the sound. Just the same impenetrable blackness, the same oppressive silence. But something was out there, lurking in the shadows. We could feel it, a presence just beyond the reach of our lights. By the second night, our nerves were frayed. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to come from all directions, surrounding us, closing in. One by one, we started seeing figures, pale, gaunt, and lifeless. They moved with an unnatural grace, their eyes hollow and empty. They were not of this world, and their presence filled us with a bone-deep fear. They beckoned us deeper into the forest. Their gestures were slow, deliberate, as if they were inviting us to join them in their eternal night. We were drawn to them despite our fear, as if under a spell. The last thing I remember, the look of terror on my friends' faces, the realization that we were in over our heads. We had come seeking adventure, but we had found something far more sinister. A cold hand grabbing my arm, its touch like ice, sending a jolt of fear through my body. It was a grip that promised no escape, a reminder that we were not alone, and an overwhelming sense of dread. We ran, our footsteps pounding against the forest floor, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. But no matter how fast we ran, the forest seemed to close in around us, its branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The forest closed in, swallowing us whole. It was as if the trees themselves were alive, their roots and branches twisting and turning to trap us. We were lost, disoriented, with no sense of direction. So, if you ever think about camping in the woods beyond, remember our story, because sometimes myths are real. The forest is not just a place, it's a living, breathing entity, and it does not take kindly to intruders. Heed the warnings and stay away, for once you enter the woods beyond, you may never find your way out.